Praise the good Lord above, fans. We are actually live here after experiencing massive issues with the StreamYard platform. Hopefully resolved. Hopefully we won't get the hook halfway through this, but you are viewing the weekly news magazine show, the flagship news show of the week here on the Cheap Heat Productions Network. I would be talking about none other than Ryder's Rasslin review with the big bad wolf himself. We're possibly going to be joined by Morris Shortle, Mr. Cheap Heat, on a hot tag run-in basis. But we figured we'd make hay while the sun shined this week and because there's a lot to talk about and get to it. So, Mr. Ryder, how are you down there in the what should I say, tumultuous United States of America?
Not as tumultuous as the other coast of the United States, but we're less tumultuous. But it's 100 degrees out. It's a beautiful day to talk about wrestling.
Yeah, well, my goodness, what a lot of interesting stories this past week. I mean, it really hasn't been a slow year generally for news, despite what some would say a rather lackluster product. But I guess we should start with all things R-Truth. Ron Killings, you know the story. He was released for 7 days, returns at Money in the Bank, attacks Cena. Post-show press conference, Triple H says it was all part of the show. Then he comes and returns to Raw on Monday, cuts what appears to be a heel promo, cuts his hair, and everybody's talking about it. First of all, what do you make about the whole situation with Triple H trying to, I guess, work the audience?
Well, I mean, that's his job, right? Save face for the company. I don't know why they didn't just give him his deal in the first place. I don't know what his original offer was or what the counter was, but clearly he's over. I think it's the best thing that ever happened to him. I mean, it's going to be white hot now if he can maintain it, because they were going crazy for him when he came out. I think the play would have been to pull one of the other guys out of Money in the Bank and put him over in it as a surprise. It would have been freaking lightning in a bottle. And then he could have chased Cena for months and months and months, and then finally dethroned him. I think they dropped the ball there, giving it to Seth. I think they should have put it on Ron. A very deserving Ron.
I think it's really good that they're giving him a final proper run, because man, he deserves it. But what do you think about the apparent change in direction in the character to a was that a heel turn? I'm still kind of undecided on that one.
I don't think it was a heel turn. I think it was just an aggressive face who's he's just not going to be as funny anymore. He doesn't want to be known as a comedian. I guess he wants to be taken seriously, and he was back in the original days of TNA. He was, so I guess that's what he's hoping he can duplicate. We'll see if it works or not. But he's a great guy. I mean, if you ever had the pleasure of meeting him, he was a wonderful guy. I got along great with him. Very nice guy, and he's well respected, and he does pretty well outside of the business too. So I don't think it would hurt him to not be in WWE. It hurts WWE more than it hurts him, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some people have commented, on his apparently, so it says online, he was ignoring the calls from others in the organization till I always say Tony, but it's not. Mr. Khan reached out to him, and they cut a deal, and part of it was that he could revert to his actual name, and therefore that was a pretty smart move from a business perspective as well. But what do you think of with TKO? Apparently restructuring salaries, and we'll talk about a big one after this. Do you think this sets kind of a bad precedent with the fans calling the shot, so to speak, the tail wagging the dog?
I think the backlash was. I don't know who made the decision to cut him. Well, they wanted to cut his pay, not get rid of him. So they wanted to, get the milk for free, kind of. Right? It was his decision not to sign, and I guess they hold out in the NFL too, right? So I think he held out, and the backlash was just great. And I think the backlash backstage was probably worse than the backlash from the fans. When you have someone back there that you look up to as a leader and you look up to for advice on, and not just in the ring, but in life in general, Ron doesn't get in trouble. I mean, I don't know what his outside habits are, but I've never heard of him having an issue with anybody outside in the real world. So I think the backlash backstage was probably far worse because now it set the mindset for guys like Killer Cross and them, like, what's going to happen to me in 2 months? Well, that's going around, and now maybe they're all decompressed a little bit.
Did you see they, for some reason, brought back Nikki Bella too for an appearance, or maybe more? It kind of flies in the face of restructuring because she can't really be all that cheap, one would think.
I don't know what they would get for her. I don't know if she's a big of a draw. I would think maybe Cena threw her a bone to get her back because I know they stayed close after they broke up. But, I mean, her run with Liz, I guess they're going to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. But I don't know why Nikki Bella would come back to want to put on a freaking half a burqa and wrestle in it. Maybe she doesn't. I guess Saudi Arabia is a huge payday, so that's why she came back.
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia continues to float around the general buzz with the company in question. But I think hopefully the company will learn something from this. Apparently, it was Paul Levesque's Triple H's call to get rid of Killings, but maybe in the future they'll take a look at more than just dollars and cents for a cohesive locker room. But I'm not sure TKO is in this for the long run with more of the information that comes out. In case in point, apparently they're looking to get rid of some of the salary attached to Roman Reigns. Apparently, some source close to him said that he's done with the company too, and they want to get rid of that $15 million contract. I don't know what business, we've discussed this before, Mr. Ryder, but I don't see a winning business model in a continual perpetuation of talent that are cost effective but not real stars. What do you think on that?
Well, I mean, Roman Reigns is certainly the biggest draw they've had in a decade. I mean, he carried the whole brand for, 3 years? $15 million for part-time is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So, if you're looking at expenses and somebody has to, I would probably look at that too. Now, does he generate $100 million? Does he generate $200 million? I don't know what he generates. I mean, if you look at it, if you're paying him $15 million, he's bringing in $500 million, $300 million, $200, you keep the guy. If you pay him $15 million, he's bringing in $15 million, we have to have a conversation. Because then it's all about Roman. But he was the lifeblood of the company for years. So, he carried on his back. He made him a lot of money. He's got to be worth the investment. But $15 million, that's a pretty good number for part-time.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that this was predicted a while ago by, at the time of the initial time of the sale or the merger or whatever you want to call it, that they're very much a dollars and cents minded company. They have a ton of debt. And one of the theories floated by people like Jonathan Coachman, the coach, is that, they're going to sell to the Saudis and more than pay off the debt that UFC has incurred over the years, and probably get some more on top of that. So basically, WWE was just a means to an end with them. Do you think that has any validity given some of the signs that we're seeing?
It seems to be now they move WrestleMania there, that somebody's going to, unless some sheik will buy it he doesn't care what he pays for it. I mean, they have $1 trillion in their account. They don't care. But if they do that, that's it for WWE. It's done. It's not the same anymore. WWE is an American brand. It was American made. Hulk Hogan is, I'm a real American. That's what started it. You sell that to the Saudis, it's game over.
Mm.
Game over. And forget about women's wrestling at that point if you sell it to the Saudis. I can't see how they're going to be on board to push women out the door.
It really flies in the face of in terms of perpetuation of the business. Horrible idea, as you said, but if they're all about using WWE to pay off debt and get rid of it within 3 years, which a lot of people are talking about, it would be consistent. But yeah, I agree. I don't see how that would continue in anywhere near its present form. But speaking of rumors, this guy was on TMZ recently, and I've always liked Shane. He basically told it like it was, so to speak. He was asked about whether or not he and his father were going to start a new company, and he said no to that, but was also asked about potentially buying back WWE with Saudi money, and he said, not trying to be evasive, but anything is possible. And this also comes on the heels of releasing or Vince selling some of his stock in TKO this week, some more of his stock. So what do you make of all this? Do you think that's a possibility or the most likely?
I think everything's a possibility, especially with Vince McMahon, but I can't see him doing a deal with the Saudis. I mean, Vince will take their money for a show, but I can't see him selling his ownership of WWE to him. Taking a back seat to some prince. I can't see it. But stranger things have happened. Vince opened a new private equity firm. He's going to have plenty of money in the bank. Plenty of people around the world want to do business with Vince. He'll get the money. He doesn't need the Saudis.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the fact is that he's had cordial relationships with them, but that was for, you're right, you make an important distinction there. I don't think a lot of people have, and that's he's had good relationships with them for presenting shows like the Greatest Royal Rumble and all those
Right.
one-off deals for great paydays. But whether or not he could work with them or under them in some form, I don't know.
No, and those Saudi shows, they're not great shows. It's always a gimmick match. Like you're gonna have Gunther versus Goldberg at this one. That's a shit match. That's either gonna be over in 30 seconds or Gunther's gonna beat the piss out of him. Like Punk and Cena are gonna be good, but that shouldn't be. That should be in the States for SummerSlam. Why is it over there for that? I don't know why they wasted that one. But I guess Punk and Cena are gonna get a hell of a payday, so maybe they'll do part 2 in Jersey. I don't know.
There's also some speculation. CM Punk said he would never work in Saudi Arabia, that this might be a bit of a bait and switch, but I guess we'll have to see on that one, because that would be a natural for SummerSlam. I don't understand why that would be presented there either.
Yeah, well, let's say listen, Seth Rollins is still running around with a briefcase, so we don't know what's going to happen. I don't see him taking a belt off Cena though. Not till the end.
Well, speaking of success, though, this show, Worlds Collide, on YouTube was a huge success. And look who's here! It's Morris. Morris, how are you, my friend?
I'm grand. Apologies, I thought we were going at 5.
No, we had a panic moment when StreamYard, it was down for actually over 2 hours, so we figured we better make hay while the sun shines and pop on. But we've just gone through a couple of stories, but the main one I'm glad you're here for, because you guys are going to gang up on me when I get to it, I'm sure, is the success of when Worlds Collide on YouTube on the 7th of June. Apparently it was the most watched show on YouTube for WWE. Apparently 764,389 concurrent viewers on the WWE and AAA channels to see the little guy. I can't even pronounce his name. Vikingo, best superstar Chad Gable. But guess what? Everybody is talking about this little fella here, Mr. Iguana. We had a video package on Raw that I guess did some good numbers in the clips. And look, even has the endorsement of not Young, but Shawn Michaels himself. What do you make, first of all, of the AAA partnership thus far, and what do you think of this gimmick guy here, Mr. Iguana?
Iguana Man got so much heat. They are literally had to call in the National Guard to Los Angeles immediately after the show, and they're still there throwing rocks, and they're furious about the vicious attack on the rubber iguana in the middle of the ring. It's part of the whole damn city down. A lot of heat over the Iguana Man.
What do you think, Morris? Do you think that this is a world champion in the making here, or?
No, I don't think so. I think we could have some kind of Goldust type character coming out of this, but it just goes to show, though, that people are interested in non-generic looking wrestlers. To be fair, it's something different. I like it. I like the old kind of look he has, and I'm sure that Triple H will take him on board and claim that he wrote his character many years ago and designed all these costumes and everything like that. But I tell you what they see with this guy: merchandise, action figures, little iguanas for kids to carry around in the crowd. They see money there. I hope he's getting a nice cut from this, because this is his work, not WWE's.
They're paying him in pesos.
But we all know who did it first, and that would be George the Animal Steel with Mind. So it's not a new sort of concept, but I guess you're right. I can't argue with that in terms of the money making aspect of it. But man, these type of characters, just like that other fella. Don't you like Danhausen too?
No, I'm not a fan of Danhausen. There's enough.
Oh, I thought you were. Sorry.
No. These clown characters don't really do it for me. I seen Danhausen over here in Ireland last year. He came for OTT. Well, I wasn't that excited to see him. He faced a local guy here who's actually working in Florida at the moment. He's the boyfriend of Lyra that was on TV a few weeks back. He worked him over in Dublin, but yeah, he didn't lift the roof. Let's put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have an offer from his people before to run like a meet and greet thing over here with him, but the money he was asking for and the demand didn't weigh up.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted a free holiday. I'll say it. He wanted a free holiday.
Yeah, a lot of folks do.
I can't fault.
Yeah.
Are you going to get a gimmick iguana, Mr. Ryder?
I can go out front right now. My backyard, I have about 42 iguanas. I will sell them. I'll autograph them right now. Sell them to you, $12 a piece.
Stuffed,
available on my TikTok shop. I'll throw them in ice and send them right to you.
It's gonna be like the
send it right to you.
It's gonna be like the Santino Cobra thing.
And before that, Mr. Sacco.
Mm.
Why don't we touch on something very near and dear to your heart, Morris, and that's the big show that is days away on June the 14th. Why don't you tell all our loyal Irish fans that are watching about the show and where they can get their tickets? Because I understand from what you've been putting out there, you're almost looking at another sellout.
Yes, we're 23 as of an hour ago tickets away from another sellout. So very, very happy with that. It was a slow burner this time, but a lot of tickets have sold in the last 48 hours. Summertime is kind of strange because there's a lot of things going on for kids, musicals, plays, and sporting events and stuff like that. So next time we won't be running in June. We'll maybe push it to July, or I think we're going to run one more this year, maybe around late November, early December. So very, very happy. Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
What is your role going to be on the show, if any? Are you going to take my suggestion and be like a Ken Shamrock style enforcer, or what's happening there? What are you doing there?
Well, at the moment, there's no plans for me to be on the show because the guy who saved me last time is over in Florida actually as well. He worked Enzo Amore last week. You were talking to Nick about his promotion. He worked over there, so he's on a little bit of a tour. So that angle may have to rest till November or December.
Mm-hmm. Well, where can the fans grab the tickets that are remaining if they can?
They can contact me directly, or there's eventbrite.com, and you just search No Limit Wrestling and you'll get it there. But really excited. I can't wait for this one.
When is the bell time?
4 p.m. on Saturday.
4 p.m. Well, you heard it, fans. Don't count on the walk up or whatever. Get out there and grab those tickets and support.
No, he's gone. Support independent wrestling is what he was going to say.
How we lose him?
Maybe StreamYard is gone in Canada. Maybe it's just me and you now.
Look at this! Wow.
Yeah.
We got the.
And I've got no control over comments or anything else like that, and I have no script either. So where are we going from here?
We did the disclaimer. Now I'm gone.
Was I the only one who disappeared there?
You were the only one.
Holy shit. This is crazy, bro. This is unstable. I guess we'll start again and put it out in 2 parts. That's fucking nuts.
You're still live. You're still live.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well,
yes.
Well, there we go. Excuse my cursing there. It is fucking nuts, though. I was just gonna say I gotta put StreamYard over though, because in all the years I've used it, this has never ever happened. So
I think it happened to me one time before, something similar to this. One time.
Oh, interesting. While I have you, or while I'm back, I just wanted to get your thoughts, guys, on whether or not Vince made a mistake not going with Shane and siding, so to speak, or when he initially was setting up his inner circle, going with Stephanie and Hunter as opposed to Shane, because everybody seems to love Shane, and it seems like they may be doing something together somehow after all.
Well, I mean, Shane always wanted to be out on his own doing other things. I don't know if Shane really even wanted the thing. He didn't want to be in control of the whole thing. And Shane, another great guy, he was more interested in martial arts and business outside of WWE. And he's not the entertainer or the spokesman that his father and sister are. He gets in the ring, he does stuff, but he's not great on the microphone like the two of them. So, maybe that's what the decision was. Maybe it was his own decision. I know he bought a motorcycle company, Indian Larry, and he bought a bunch of other stuff. He's doing okay on his own. So
yeah,
I don't think he really wanted it.
Yeah. I think, though, there was suggestion that he made a few calls late in the day in Vince's time that Vince wasn't too happy with. One being the Royal Rumble and things like that. So I think maybe he was. I'm only guessing that he might have been too maybe outspoken, whereas Stephanie would just kind of go along with whatever Vince is suggesting, like such as impregnating her and things like that.
You might be right. You can be right. At one point, and if you watched this Big Man movie on Netflix, he tells you flat out that he told Shane, if you want the company, you got to kill me for it. He gave him a knife.
Yep.
And then in the end, Stephanie and Hunter stabbed him in the back. It comes out of the company.
I did see that interview though, that short interview that TMZ done with Shane. I don't know if I believe a lot of it. I think that he was just playing up, stirring rumors.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll be a story that everyone will be definitely following. Another item that I wanted to get your impression on, because I know we've talked about it before, but Jey Uso lost that mid-card world title on Raw, ending a 52-day reign. So 2 questions is, was Jey Uso the experiment a failure? You could see Rikishi, his dad, already weighed in and is questioning the move. Do you think that it was the right one to make off the Royal Rumble? And do you think, as Mr. Ryder previewed, that Goldberg's going to come in and win the title, and where does that lead? Does it spell difficulty or further difficulty for that title?
That title, listen, I would love to have that title, and everyone up there would love to have that title. But two things. A, it's the ugliest belt I've ever seen in my life. It's too small. Why didn't they just go with the original World Heavyweight title with the belt? I don't understand why they didn't have the big belt. And B, it doesn't have any like flair behind it. I think they thought giving it to Uso would get some excitement behind it, and he just couldn't get it going. Gunther's a solid choice. He's going to go with Goldberg, which will get world coverage. And I think Goldberg is going to hit the spear, and then Seth Rollins is going to come in and cash in on his ass and pin Goldberg. So
That'd be good.
That's what I think is going to happen. So Seth Rollins leaves the belt.
Yeah, I think Jey Uso is grand, and his entrance is really good. But then when the bell rings, the crowd is lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
he's
I
either
can't say
injured
bad
or
things about any of the Samoans. They're all tremendous in the ring. They've all been wonderful. Rishi's certainly one of my favorites of all time. But the super kicks are terrible. They're every 2 seconds, and there's a lot of botches. So
there's a lot of Samoans though, like Rikishi, like The Rock. Who else am I thinking of? Roman Reigns, obviously. This guy couldn't hold a candle to those guys.
Yeah, I think it was a case of they had something with the entrance, and they thought it would work out. He's either injured though or taking time off, so I guess we'll have to see where that one goes to.
when is the draft? When do they switch them all around? Is that coming up?
Pretty soon, I think.
They probably switch them over to SmackDown.
They better hurry up and move all the fucking Irish people to SmackDown before SmackDown comes to Dublin, because there's nobody there.
Good point. And when is that again, Morris?
22nd of August. It should be the night where Sheamus wins the Intercontinental Championship, and that will complete all of his championships in WWE. That'd be a great way to do it.
That would be a big deal. Speaking of former big deals, did you happen to see the new the new headlines that Matt Riddle is making? He said something along the lines that CM Punk sucks at fighting and is a bitch to work with. Comments on John Cena. He was on a podcast where he said, in addition to that, this is Punk basically belly aches and complains. I've heard from my boys that still work there that he's a headache, and this isn't a storyline, it's the facts. And he also talked about, this is interesting, his first backstage meeting with John Cena. He said, I accidentally said I thought he would be bigger. Riddle recalled, he kind of gave me a verbal lashing back and forth. He gave me crap for being king of bros, and he tried to get me to explain what that was, and no answer was good enough for John Cena. Wow, he's certainly not trying to, smooth his way back.
I think he needs to learn how to control his smoke like Rob Van Dam. You know?
First off, I don't think John Cena could get any bigger. John Cena is gigantic. His arms are they're bigger than my legs. He's huge. So I think Matt Riddle jokes around a lot. People take him more seriously than he's actually big. He's comparing UFC. He's comparing Punk to UFC fighters. The Punk's credit, at least he made it to UFC and fought there. So you lost twice. I don't care. I would bet Punk on the street's a lot tougher than people give him credit for. All right, that's in two different worlds. All right.
Yes.
Secondly, the dude's a pothead, man. Don't take him serious. He's probably high all the time.
I'll always have respect for CM Punk at his age, 40, or was he 39, to get into a UFC ring. You know, no matter how it went, that's fucking ballsy.
It is fucking ball. He only trained for 5 months for it or something, and he fought a guy who's been fighting since he was 6. So,
yeah, anybody that knocks him for that is not really thinking straight.
Look at him now. Look at him.
Different than fighting in a bar.
It didn't do the guy any damage in the professional wrestler world. He's probably making more money now than he ever has, and doing less work.
The other another interesting story is: did you guys catch the new name of Mariah May in WWE?
I can't remember what it is.
Well, apparently the last name is Monroe, and it also her first name and the combination together belongs to a porn actress. And
very good.
Many fans are pointing out that this happened before, and calling out the hypocrisy associated with Triple H's remarks on China. What's going on there? Do they not have people to quality control this stuff, or what?
Simple Google would have, I suppose, answered that.
I guess they looked up the trademark and just didn't catch it. Listen, I mean, it happens. I don't think it's the same thing. The problem with China is she like went and did wrestling pornos, like where they're like an Undertaker and there was a fake Triple H. I mean, she really she went in deep on that. So that's part of the reason there. I don't think her having the same name as a porn star from this was it the early 90s, mid 90s. I don't think that's going to affect it at all.
Have we got the Undertaker podcast story on the running order?
No, but let her rip.
Yeah, so did you see that one? Yeah, so the Undertaker's podcast has gone off his own independent channel, gone back onto WWE's YouTube channel, and I believe maybe it's happened or maybe it's happening. His very first guest is going to be Michelle McCool.
Well, that's all right. It's probably a funny conversation.
Yeah.
It probably won't be that big. Listen, Undertaker's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. And he's just getting a little rub for his wife. I don't blame him.
Yeah. But this is a financially beneficial decision, I'd imagine. Moving back to there,
Was he not on the Conrad Thompson platform thing? Was he not associated?
No, I don't think so. No, he had his own Dead Man YouTube thing with must be some guy he knew. I didn't recognize the host, and he was doing the Patreon thing as well. Maybe that's gone now as well. I'm not sure.
Interesting. Can't say I'm surprised though. I also can't say I will be tuning in to watch a career retrospective on Michelle McCool. I mean, the whole deal.
Hall of Famer, bro.
What was that?
She's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, when Mickey James is not. So figure that one out.
When do the extras? When do the guys when do we get our fucking Hall of Fame? Why we've
been asking for a long time.
They got a match in the Hall of Fame now. They got legends in the Hall of Fame. What about us?
Yeah,
Carino.
We've been beating that drum for a long time.
Yeah, and
we're serious too.
Maybe somebody suggested, maybe not. I think it might have been Nick Barbary suggested. Maybe it's a little much to have like individual enhancement or carpenter guys, in the Hall of Fame, but there definitely is a spot for recognition of, the significant contribution they made to the business, for many, many, many years. But I don't know if that's if they're not going to do a physical Hall of Fame, I don't know where that would fit into their TV broadcasts, or maybe along with the historical inductions or something like that.
You know what's going to happen? We're going to have to just, at some point when they move WrestleMania out of Vegas, do our own one.
Own Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Where, over in Ireland there, or
no? I don't mind wherever WrestleMania is. We just invite all the guys that have been on this show that are interested, and we'll just have some kind of dinner or something like that. Something that's within our budget.
Yeah, that would be an excellent idea.
Or you can pay for it, Mr. Ryder.
No,
we can all party. We'll party in your holiday home then.
Return on investment, my friend. Well, we'll do it. We'll have to fly them all. Fly to Florida. We'll all go to my sit out by my pool.
Sounds good, and have it catered by Golden Corral or something like that.
Jungle Queen's right out back. We go to the Jungle Queen. They'll bring over all the ribs and stuff.
We'll get Dennis Knight to do the chefing. He's Midian. He does chefing.
Where has he been? We gotta have him on. He's one of the funniest human beings in the history of the business.
He's not answering my phone calls. I'll send you his number.
Please send me one of the funniest men of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by all means, if you can get them to respond, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug Basham. We have to have Doug Basham on it. Speaking of Doug Basham,
I've asked Doug. Oh yeah,
Doug
seen the
Basham
news.
was just at the Performance Center as a guest coach all week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And a better choice they could not have. I hope they bring him back up.
Oh,
Well,
look at Doug. He read my message and didn't reply.
We'll have to keep on that one for sure, because he would be an excellent interview with yourself for sure.
He's one of a kind.
Oh, 21 tickets left now, guys.
Well, there you go. Look, it worked. We're
Yeah.
selling them. They're flying off the shelves. Let's throw the poster up again before I get kicked out again. There we are. This Saturday, June 14th.
Unfortunately, the man in the middle of the poster there, Sean Maxer Guinness, he trained Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Unfortunately, he's broken his collarbone and he'll be out for the rest of the year. So thoughts with him. Good guy.
What's with these Irish guys in these 8-packs? How do they pull this off? They all weigh 160 pounds. They're shredded to the bone.
He's a personal trainer. He's a personal trainer.
Clearly.
Sharp looking guy. This is an interesting one. An AEW star that I've never heard of issued a warning after a fan sent a gift to a hotel room. Her name is Queen Amanada. Have you heard of her, Morris?
No, I'm afraid not. No.
Well, she issued a warning to fans after a frightening incident where her privacy was taken away from her. Said that a fan sent flowers to a hotel room.
Oh,
when she, I know. When she was,
I thought it was a bomb. The way you were talking.
No, it was actually just flowers, and she responded and said she called out the person responsible and urged others not to cross those personal boundaries. Be a fan, don't be a creep. She tweeted, "Imagine how I felt days and days after. Y'all need to stop for real."
I have a question. Did the guy deliver the flowers himself to her room, or did he get them delivered by an external company?
They were delivered.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
The goal. How
did
what did the authorities say?
Imagine when you were in a hotel room back in the day, Ryder, and a fan, sends you a 6-pack of beer to your room.
It was worse. You know what? Security was worse back then. You know, those girls literally had the gall to find that our rooms would knock on our door and try and sleep with us.
Oh, what a shame.
Can you imagine the trauma that me and Chris Jericho, did you know what we went through?
I'm very sorry.
The poor Godfather, he's never gotten over it.
I don't know, but
it was like a horror movie.
And I 100% believe you too.
I don't know about you guys, but this kind of stuff is getting really, really, really tiresome to me.
That's a non-story.
All right, so
the one story actually a few weeks ago though, from a convention when Paige said somebody tried to kiss her. Oh, that's a bit different.
Yeah.
You know?
On the lips.
Yes. That's a bit much now.
He's probably watching a movie that she started and thought it was okay.
Yes, a triple threat.
Probably
an independent film.
Yeah, I saw this on a movie once. I think you were in it.
I suppose.
Speaking of sending things to people's rooms, God rest his soul, Russ Haas, who was the hilarious half of the Haas brothers, Charlie and Russ Haas, one of the best tag teams I've ever had the pleasure of being in the ring with, and both really good guys and good friends. And I don't talk to Charlie as much, but great guy. Charlie Haas, very high-strung, very aggressive, very high-strung. So we were going to start sending him random packages, flowers and presents from some guy. We were just going to make up a guy and just send it to him as his secret admirer. And there was it was me, Inferno Kid, Russ Haas were in on it. So we were just going to send him wherever he was. Russ would tell us where he was. We'd send him. We never did this. I wish we had. He would have gone crazy. We could have done it for years. He never would have figured out it was getting stalked by some gay man who just would love him. He would go, fuck. I wish we had done it, but we didn't do it.
Well, I'm sure he would have been traumatized as well. I think this is the kind of thing that some of these performers do for attention, and it comes across as extremely disingenuous from where I sit.
It comes across as extremely immature. And again, if that is a trigger to you, that a fan sent you flowers, go home.
Yeah.
Go home. What are you in this business for?
Yeah, 100%.
Non-story for me. Non-story.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, for sure. That's why it jumped out at me. But Shotzi Blackheart, another former WWE superstar, said she earns more 2 days on the independent scene than a week with WWE. She said that she made a quick return to the independents and was on a GCW show, said that her pay is much more than in the WWE. What that to me, something about that doesn't maybe initially while you're hot coming off TV for 6 months, but come on,
It's not gonna last forever, I'm afraid.
I don't know what she was making, but if she was making more than an indie show, what could they have possibly paid her for the indie show? Maybe she sold a bunch of pictures. Who knows? I don't know.
What's the most, Jack, that you've been as a promoter quoted for someone on an independent show? You don't have to mention names.
Oh shit! Yeah, the Boogeyman wanted 10 grand. 10 grand US payable up front.
That include the worms?
Yeah, I would hope so. But that was
who supplied the worms? Who supplied the worms?
Well, that would probably be in the Ryder. But yeah, he 10 grand payable up front, and that was 2.5, 3 years ago. So of course we didn't go with that. The other guy that wanted a fortune was I can't even remember his name now. He was in AEW for a while. He held a title there, and he was also a talent agent. I'm trying to remember his name. Anyway, he was asking for one show plus trans $3,800. He was a guy that was released and then came back. He was with AAA or one of the Mexican promotions for a while, and he held one of their heavyweight titles. And it was during the time that he had their heavyweight title. We wanted that, and of course, I passed on that, as I can't even remember his name. But
yeah,
most talent that you want to book that have a name are fairly reasonable on a show that we unfortunately could not move forward on in Petawawa, Ontario, which was a military town, and it drew very well. But due to the previous owner of the company at the time, he killed the town by not showing up. I was looking at getting Warlord in, and he was actually only about 1,300-ish and change plus trans, and he would split you on pictures. So anything more than that, I think you're like the people that were bringing in Rob Van Dam for 15 grand a shot or whatever. That's a much bigger operation than anything that I could definitely float at the time.
How many tickets are they selling at these little shows where they're paying Rob Van Dam 15 grand?
Not enough.
What are they doing? How much is a freaking ticket to theirs? You think WWE's expensive?
Yeah.
But in other news, I've saved this story. I don't think you've have it noted, Jack, but it was especially for Mr. Ryder that Speedball Mike Bailey is now come out as the only non-binary wrestler in the world.
Oh, that's great fucking news. Look at that.
That's interesting.
Right to the top of the card. Who the hell is Speedball Mike Bailey?
Yeah, it's 2025. Who cares? Seriously. You know who that guy was that I was referring to in AEW? QT Marshall.
I don't know him.
You don't know QT Marshall?
Why do I think I do know him?
He was part of Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, and he trained some guys.
Is he trained with Gangrel, QT Marshall?
Maybe. I think he's a Florida guy, but look him up. That $3,700. I think what they were trying to do there, it was a guy who was a mainstay. He appeared on AEW and got crushed by Powerhouse Hobbs, a guy by the name of Jeremy Prophet.
I don't recognize him.
Yeah, Jeremy Prophet went and trained under him at the Nightmare Factory and was trying to get me to bring him in for $3,700 US.
Oh, you know what? He's buddies with the Costco guys.
QT Marshall?
Yes, he's buddies with the Costco guys.
Are they still booked there?
I don't know if they are or not. But he's buddies with that. I think it was a Boca Raton.
Okay. Yeah.
QT Marshall might have been in an OVW training camp with me a long time ago.
I think so. He's been around a long time, and no disrespect.
QT Marshall was in a training camp with me a long time ago.
But
I don't recall meeting him, but I don't recall hearing anything bad about him either.
No, just way too big a price tag to bring into an independent show.
Well, for the record, I charge $25,000 for appearance.
Okay, we could talk. We can work that out.
Still not ringing.
Trans is on you though, right?
The phone. I'll fly myself there, but the phone just never rings. But when it does,
I think that's from a promoter's perspective. That's the difficulty with AEW talent because, yeah, they're on television, and there's some good workers there on both sides of the coin. But every week we do this show, nobody's talking about AEW. There's nothing to talk about AEW. Their ratings are not that good, and the talent that are able to do independents that aren't like Billy Gunn or with a former WWE pedigree, they're not going to recoup. Their asking price is far beyond what they're going to recoup for the promoter. So it's kind of a catch-22 there.
Isn't there? I did hear lately in the States that the ratings are improving slightly.
I think they were hanging their hat. Ron Killings was going to show up.
Yeah,
and save them for a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's to me, it's with the possibility of WWE being sold and then no house shows. You would think or limited house shows, the time would be right for AEW to come on strong, but maybe
I don't know why. I don't know why they haven't done a run of house shows across Europe and the UK and Ireland, even AEW. Smaller arenas, but they haven't really. They've only went to England really to do that show, haven't they? The show in Wembley, and then maybe one show before that. But in terms like TNA used to do little tours of Europe that were quite successful across Scotland,
right?
UK,
right.
Yeah,
right,
smaller arenas.
Years ago.
Yeah, they were hitting around 2,500 to 3,000 seated arenas,
and selling them out, right, for the most part.
Yeah. But these days, with the price of everything, will that pay? I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
When you pay the guys their transportation, everything, it probably won't. That's why.
Which is probably why TKO has virtually eliminated house shows. But it also provides an opportunity to grow regional territories again with a strong base. And I think of Bull Buchanan, who I interviewed on this channel a week or so ago. Bullpen Wrestling doing very, very well. I like to see that. We need more of that. We need more of a strong independent business to, hopefully create some new talent that isn't through, the WWE system alone that are, former track stars or whatever. But call me old school on that one. The last story is kind of interesting, and it's an AEW story. I just punked myself there. Top AEW star slams WWE for infamous Brock Lesnar moment. He said, "I thought it was just stupid," and that was from MVP, who weighed in on one of WWE's quote most controversial moments in recent memory, which was Brock Lesnar's 7-second win over Kofi Kingston in 2019. He had been riding high. Apparently, I don't remember much of his reign after winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania that year and what became known as Kofi Mania. I also don't remember that. MVP, who was on a podcast, called the booking decision stupid and pointed out the emotional connections fans had with Kingston's journey and criticized WWE for seemingly discarding it without care. He said, I thought there was no need to do that to Kofi, thought it was ridiculous, and a lot of people felt that way. I don't know. I thought it was pretty much a realistic outcome there. Do you guys remember Kofi Mania and this supposed controversial moment?
Look at this. He's underlying this with racial undertones. Okay. This happens, guys, of all skin color and backgrounds on a yearly basis. Look at, what's his name? Jey Uso that we just talked about. Look at his title run. These things happen. Plus, he did play a fake Jamaican for years and then dropped the accent.
No one will suspend disbelief enough to think that Lesnar couldn't kill Kofi Kingston in 30 seconds. And also, to Antonio Banks' credit, he was a very good friend of Billy Fives, and they had the pleasure of meeting him. But if you are a black champion and you see Brock Lesnar's names, there's a 100% chance he's taking your title because he has every single time. Maybe it's an ongoing gag backstage. Who else did he get? He got Bobby Lashley's. He got Kofi's. He got Big E's title. He's got The Rock.
I don't know. I remember when everybody was flying high on Ricochet. Not that he was, the champion, and Lesnar ate his lunch in about 3-4 minutes there, and there wasn't a similar backlash over that. And at the time, I mean, he didn't have the belt, but Ricochet was arguably just as hot. Everybody seemed to love him. He was a darling of the internet, and this same criticism never happened. But if you look at it from I didn't even think of the racial angle to it, but if you look at it from, what does Kofi weigh, 185, 190, and Brock Lesnar's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, what were they going to do? A 10-minute back and forth match? Lesnar beat The Undertaker. He beat everybody. You have Kofi give him a 50-50 match.
Sure, look at James Ellsworth. You never hear James Ellsworth complaining about the way he was treated and thrown around the place. He embraces it.
Yeah, well, I think that MVP. I've got a lot of respect for him. I think he's a wise guy. I really enjoy his work, but I don't know about this. I don't really see that as a fair. I don't remember a public outcry when he lost the belt. Do you?
No.
That's when they went back. They got the tag team titles back a week or two later. They were drawing more as a tag team, and I think after that, Lesnar was going on to moving on to Roman Reigns, wasn't he?
Yes, I think around that time frame.
Yeah, you had to have somebody's got to be the Roman Reigns antagonist, right? It's not going to be Kofi. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the look. He's not big enough. He doesn't relate to everybody. I'm sure he's a wonderful, nice guy, what I'm told, but it's not Lesnar. Lesnar's got a mystique about him that The Undertaker doesn't have. I mean, and Lesnar's going to Hawk who or Lesnar? Who wins in a fist fight? Lesnar. Every time. Quickly. So that's Brock Lesnar for you.
Because a wrestler can take down a striker.
Hitting a strike.
So, Morris, now that the event is almost upon you, are there any last-minute preparations or what does the next few days look like for you?
Oh, my God. So I got to work in the morning till 2 in the shop. Then I got to go to Dublin and DJ till nearly 3 a.m. Then I got to get up at 8 a.m. to make my way back down here to be here for like 9:30, 10 a.m. to set up for the show on Saturday. Then after the show,
what is your DJ name?
DJ Chartreuse. It's a drink. It's a 56% spirit.
All right, okay.
So we'll have to have that.
Well, we'll have to mix it up here. We'll have it on the next podcast.
But the next, you should. Yeah, it's available. I did see it when I was in Dallas. Very strong, very nice stuff. And then after the wrestling show finishes, I got to go to a dance show in Carlow that my kids are involved in that night. So it's going to be a busy couple of days.
What's your secret to all the energy?
Monster and beer. Beer tomorrow night. Beer tomorrow night and whiskey, and then on Saturday just Monster all day.
Well, God bless you. Do it while you're young, Mr. Ryder and I don't think we could keep up that pace.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I don't think if I ever could.
I can hang there for a while, but I want to be in bed by 8:30 every night, so I don't know.
Well, then we just need to start going out earlier when we do meet up. We'll go out day drinking.
Early to bed, early to rise, and all that. Well, I just while I have everyone, just want to make a quick program note. Due to the crash of StreamYard, the much anticipated interview with Dan Spivey, Dangerous Dan Spivey, we couldn't do it. We've rescheduled it for June 20th, live at 4 p.m. on the channel. Right. This weekend, I've got an interview on Saturday with the author of the new book on the NWO, Say Hello to the Bad Guys. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Sunday on the flagship podcast, interview podcast of the week, the Cheap Heat Productions podcast, I have Sir Mo from Men on a Mission. Nice. He's doing limited interviews, and he agreed to sit down to do a career one with me. It's a guy I've tried to get on for several years. For looking forward to that. Mr. Ryder, have you ever crossed paths with Sir Mo?
I have not. Never did. Viscera a million times with Viscera. I love Viscera. Never met Mo. Never met. Who was their manager?
It was Oscar. The rap. He would do the rap deal there.
Yeah.
Remember that? They. I think when they debuted, a lot of folks were. Skeptical, but they really got over. I think Viscera was, as you said, a great talent, and so was Oscar. But Mo, a very seasoned wrestler. They came up in Memphis, and he's running his own company now. So we're looking forward to hear all about that stuff. Before we go,
Sermo, get it right. Sermo.
Before we go, though, how are things looking in Florida? I know there's some unrest in both nations right now. How are things looking for the weekend? Because it's supposed to pop off across the country on the weekend, is it not?
Well, this is going to be an exciting week. My anniversary is Friday with my wife of 23 years, Robin. And then on Saturday is their big protest where they're gonna march down to A1A and past the elbow room and all that. But what is exciting to me is the fact that all the motorcycle gangs have already gotten together that usually hate each other, and they're all going to be there.
Nice.
So I'm going to go sit at the roof of the elbow room and watch the fireworks and just laugh my ass off when they come walking down the road and run into 500 men on Harley Davidsons with baseball bats.
So the motorcycle gangs have all come together, yep.
It appears so.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, I'd just be staying inside.
We'll see how that goes for these college kids and their Antifa masks.
Soy people. How are things over in Ireland? I know there was some demonstrations or whatever you want to call it recently, but what's it looking like now?
The north of Ireland, which is technically the UK, is been one town up there has been burning the last 3 nights because of attacks by foreign people on locals, and it's not looking too good up there. They put them into like a leisure center to protect them, and they burnt down the leisure center, the locals. So things are not looking good up in Northern Ireland at the moment.
Good for them.
Not looking good in the Middle East either. So all our viewers stay safe.
What I do want to say though is rest in peace to the people and the one guy who somehow survived from that plane crash in India today.
Oh yeah. Another tragedy. Everybody
what?
In the back, probably.
I don't know. The guy fucking walked through. I seen the videos and they're graphic, and you could see people literally burnt to a crisp. And this guy is just walking through. He's got a few scratches and stuff, but I just do not know. It'll be fascinating. Surely the guy will be interviewed. He's a UK citizen, so the flight was going to London.
It's unbelievable.
That's why I don't like flying, and that's why I have 8, 9, or 10 Jamisons before I get in the flight.
Well, it's statistically safer than crossing the roads, but yeah, when you see these tragedies, it really can shake you up. But everybody, stay safe, and we will be back next week with another edition of Ryder's Rasslin Review. I want to also take a second to thank all the folks that have rediscovered or discovered the channel, because all the stats are going way up, and we're going to continue to work hard to bring you as much quality content as possible. So make sure you like our videos and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Jack Kilby for Morris, Mr. Cheap Heat on a Legends deal, and the Big Bad Wolf. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Cheap Heat Productions. Don't forget to hit the notification button.